you meet a girl, would you tell your parents about it? If you broke up, how easy is it for you to come to me and share with me?
The way you initiate that conversation, you're like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Do this. Okay. I'm feeling stressed about this daughter of somebody. You're thinking, you're not even out of my house. Why are you stressing over somebody's? When I was younger, I never really understood why you and mom would meet your friends and go Happy New Year, and we're in like July or midway through. Or it's January 4th. Yes.
Yeah.
Or it's January 4th, and then you say, hey, the year is flying.
Yeah.
So what is the year supposed to do? It's supposed to do what?
It's supposed to.
We have 365 days we are supposed to go through. You expect it to go 1.5. Doesn't make. But as I grown older, it really starts to make sense for me. Why? I see some of my friends in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's not out of my own doing or wanting. It's just life happens like that. People we used to see every day while we waited for the school bus, or while we're in high school, you shared the same dormitory or something.
Yeah.
Now we are not seeing each other in 6 months or more.
It's just the joy of seeing people at that point. It's an easy greeting. It's a nice way to start.
So you just say hi. You mean Happy New Year in August.
It just feels fresh and different in a new year. You're seeing them for the first time in that new year. So that should be okay. Just Happy New Year.
New Year is supposed to end by 10th of January. And that's it. There's nothing. Happy New Year. We're April.
Just Africans. We enjoy each other's company.
But another thing it also did for me is ask that question. What have I done in the last 3 months?
Which are
flown by.
They've gone very fast.
Yes.
And for me, that would be nice to hear, because it comes down to some of what we are looking at. When you hear, say, let's talk. Let's talk. What happens?
I'm fine.
Panic.
I'm fine.
You start going through, hey.
I'm not panicked. I'm fine.
Deep inside, you would be thinking, what exactly is it? What have I done? Is it this and the other?
Oh, there's that one. Yes. You know, when your boss tells you we need to talk.
We need to talk. Yeah,
Start
exactly. You start sweating. And maybe it's a talk that would lead to a promotion. But at the end of the day, what we're just saying is, yes. So 3 months have passed. How has it been?
So I have a good friend that would say, ask another. Meaning, or to mean that, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just been chaotic. It's been hectic. But it's been a very trying 3 months.
Yeah.
I accidentally became important at work.
Okay. So, accidentally.
I want to go home. I don't want to. I want to go home!
Somebody was fired. The important guy was fired. Somebody was shown the door.
No.
Okay, all right.
I took on a bit more responsibility. So I became the point of contact. You're facilitating meetings with a client, but you're also checking now with the team, has this and this been done? When you're putting together reports, you're ensuring, is your input up to standard, or what you've put in the report, is it up to standard, and all those things. And it's exciting because you're now the guy of, you do this, you do that, you do.
Umekuwa nyapara. I'm just saying, in our day, that's how we refer. When
that belongs in a museum. It's a museum.
Yeah, I'm just relating, yes.
Yes, you're the one giving direction and what. At the same time, the pressure of, have I said the correct thing? You're probably in the meeting with everybody. You're now not just meeting with senior management. You could be meeting with C-suite.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, have I said the right thing? Because you're also hoping your manager is not going to be those ones who, I think that's not the right thing. Or somebody from the client side goes like, you're saying that. What are you saying? That's not true. That's false.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
You know? And then you're sending emails. You've proofread it. Dear sir, madam, the address is correct. You're checking for spelling errors. Your signature is all right. But then when you send, you're seeing all the said
errors.
Called with triple L. It's a sir, but you've put a dear madam.
Or when you're saying regards, it come out as regrets.
Yes.
Yeah. Those happen, yeah. So it's interesting now. This conversation is giving me a lot of insight that tells me I could have been hearing this a lot more if there was a way I was able to ask you, because this generation of one-liners, every time I ask, how was it? It's either, it was cool, or nothing much.
I come home, I'm so tired.
Or you're so tired, you don't even want to talk, and so on. So look at having this is giving me a lot of insight into that. So how can we be able to do that more so that I'm able to hear about what your day is like? Maybe there's some input I can be able to give about that, because it's things that I have experienced, and I can be able to share about my experience. And this is what this whole thing is about, guys, is the idea that we can talk about things. Recently, in the press and everywhere, we are hearing a lot of stories of people being overwhelmed. They just feel unable to cope. They are faced, whether they are parents, whether they are young people like yourself, they are being faced with situations that they're struggling to handle. And that sense of being unable to cope is causing them to take decisions that are not in line with what we would expect. So the extreme end of it is that people become suicidal. There are other options where people withdraw. They then just go into a corner. People get into depression. And we are saying it's just because of a lack of talking. And having conversations like this helps to ease that pressure. You might say something and I have experience and share with you my own experience and how I dealt with it. And that's really what, the whole setup is about. Just talking. Yeah.
The first question to ask yourself as a parent is, what potential struggles is your young person going through, and recognize them that is their reality. You guys had such simpler days, which a lot of us long for. It was I wouldn't say it was so, but when you look back or you hear some of the stories, you guys you're thinking, man, those days were so simple.
It was nice.
It was so
it wasn't
easy
that
in a way. Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
And then showing an interest in what this person. So yes, you've asked the question of how was your day.
Yeah.
That's the bare minimum, bottom of the barrel.
Isn't.
So that could be for the first 1, 2, 3 days. How was work? We'll probably hit you with the one-liner. I'm tired and what. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, first half of the week. Very long. But Thursday, Friday, I might be willing to go. Things may have slowed down and I'm willing to go. Yo, you tell me how you deal with A, B, C, and D. Or I've met somebody who I don't know how to handle. I don't know how to get things out of them.
Isn't it?
Now, that is just work. For those of us who are privileged to work, there's a large population, some of the population, don't have jobs.
And that is an important thing.
Yes.
You have the privilege of being at work. So the stresses you're dealing with, in some ways, are better than one who doesn't have a place to go to work.
Yes.
And perhaps has been like that for a while.
Yes. You can imagine, I'll give a little bit of my story. I looked for a job for 7 months before I got at my place of work. I didn't have to go out of that door. I'd say I've only had to step out of that door once. And that was when I was looking for community service. when I was
Wow.
in university. I
Yeah.
had to go and mention to them or ask.
Yeah.
When I was looking for a job, I spent my time on LinkedIn and company websites looking for different job opportunities. One day I went to a barber and I was telling him about my experience. I was like, man, it's so difficult out here. He says, my friend, you have not gone through it.
Wow.
He said he knew of a person
Yeah.
who was in his 30s with a master's degree,
Yeah.
but never had a formal job, ever. He's stuck doing informal jobs here and there
To make ends meet.
Now, if you've had the privilege to be taken to some of the best schools within the country, or you've experienced some of the best lecturers, maybe you had textbooks and what that were top end and all that, you get your degree, you have honors and what, but you can't get a job. You sit in your room day in, day night, maybe you go tamaking and what. Umengara, you leave the house shining, you're looking clean, but there's nothing you're going to do out there. You've just been leaving your documents all over. You come back home, the emails, you open your Gmail, it's regret after regret after regret.
Oh dear.
And
Yeah.
you're thinking, but the first person that greets you and you open it is like, what have you been doing the whole day? You're walking around town in your suit and what, and there's nothing you're doing.
Wow. Yeah. That can be quite heavy.
That's-
can be quite heavy.
So for me, it's really about understanding what struggles. And I know we've only talked about work. There's so much more out there. Understanding what pressures and struggles that this person is going through and recognizing that they are real for them. And then now taking an interest from there. You're asking open-ended questions. It's not, I know you'll be hit with the one-liner, but you're following up to understand a lot more.
Yeah, but so you see, this is the thing that we need to be a bit better at doing, is parents get put off by the one-liners. In our time, if you are asked a question, you better give a proper answer. There was a way it can be beaten out of you. In fact, it's considered rude to give one-liners. I'm okay. What do you mean you're okay? Can you? Yeah, and the follow-up communication will help bring it out of you quickly. So we need to be able to find out a little bit deeper. Tell me a little bit, relationships. I think it's something young people are having to deal with. What is it like? Would you talk to your parents about, would you share with me details about relationships?
Now you're pushing.
Okay, exactly. Which
You're pushing.
yeah.
But, well, again, it comes down to, is the environment conducive? Have you created an environment where it's okay for me to share that kind of information with you? For young people, there are so many different things that, within the context of relationships, that people could be stressing about. As a guy, you're thinking, am I catering to her love language? It's one
love
of the
language.
things.
You guys don't even speak your languages. What love language? Sasa nigga. Mtu anaweza sema, can somebody say my love language? Like me, I'm a Luo.
No,
Oh,
no. We have a bad reputation out there.
so you
Yes.
shouldn't even. Okay, so okay.
But
yeah.
a love language, what? The physical touch, the one to you, if it's gifts.
Gifting.
You'll be buying gifts,
Yeah.
acts of service.
Words of affirmation. Those are the things.
Yes,
Okay.
even you know. Yes. So are you doing, or are you catering to those kinds of things? You remembering there's an anniversary coming up, which is standard. Valentine's, standard. Her birthday, standard. Nowadays, are you recognizing her or gifting her on International Women's Day? It's Mother's Day because she's a mother to 5 dogs or cats. You giving her a Mother's Day gift.
What happened
The
to
girlfriend's
the
day.
society?
And, you know, I mean, that's why sometimes I'm like, I wish there were simpler times where we used to put fries, the chips, inside a polythene bag of some sort, the somersaulting chicken.
Kenchik.
Kenchik, yes.
Yeah.
And you go to Huru Park and you're,
I'm life is so easy. And I think it was like 12 bob, 15 bob.
Okay,
and
it
you
wasn't that cheap.
I'm telling you, it wasn't too costly. It was an easy thing, and people accepted it as what. If you really upgraded, ungekuwa wimpy. Wimpy would be now at least you're seated inside, although the demand sometimes was high, because then all the notices around there are saying no idle sitting allowed. So as soon as you finish your food, even if you have storos,
leave.
you go and do your storo elsewhere. But when you have really upgraded, yani you have made effort. Yani the way they I hear you saying mwanaume ni effort. Bas.
That time you're taking somebody to Kenchik, this Toshi Mboga.
Green corner to Toshi Mboga. That was that.
Toshi Mboga and what? But
so we would go to Green Corner. Now, Green Corner was epitome. When you had a little bit more money and you could spend, you could impress.
Like Green Corner.
Yeah, it was all people who matter. Yeah, so once in a while, bring your A game. But yeah, that was what made life what it was. That the things that stressed you would not be too nini, especially on financials. I know in general, people expect to be bought for gifts, but it was simple. A bangle, an earring, something to tie your hair.
The hairbands and my friend, nowadays, you buying a phone.
Man, okay, see the pressure.
And then you're hit with,
see
my my father, why can't you do that? So there's a group of guys who go like, your fathers, you then go to your father then. I'm not here to take care of you.
Yeah.
So, but there's another group, you're thinking, I genuinely love this person.
Yeah.
And I want to do whatever I can to be with them to eventually get to the point of spend the rest of my life with them. But requirement number one is, are you buying me this? Are you buying me that?
Yeah.
And the same thing is if you're to reverse it. I know as guys, sometimes you can be difficult to gift. So I know a lot of people, their default is socks, boxers,
belt. Yeah.
And you're saying you've sorted throughout the year. So Father's Day, his birthday.
You've got 37 boxers.
The anniversary. So you bought her phone and then she's brought for you happy socks.
Okay, yeah.
And the difficult happy socks. There are happy socks that are happy socks. And there are those ones that...
Yeah, like really...
and they're saying, it's difficult for you guys because you hear our struggles. Saying, man, my laptop. Man, my what? You go and look, the laptop he wants is 150,000 and what? I mean, to express, now I can imagine coming home to tell you, hey dad, she wants this phone and it will cost like some 90.
Come on, guys. You're just putting pressure on yourselves. And I even imagine what pushes that even more is because you spend 3/4 of your days scrolling through social media platforms and everybody is posting, I got myself everybody is unboxing a new phone or whatever. And I'm unboxing, I'm unveiling the cars with ribbons, my new ride, new whip, new what?
So I'll take you back. You see how when you say, you guys, you're spending so much time, social media, that's the judgmental bit now. So I'm coming to you, I may be naive to that entire situation that's not how it's supposed to be. But you're going like, you guys, you spend so much time on leave, those are other people's, whatever lives. But you see, when you approach that from a judgmental point of view already, I'm like, now I can't even tell you about work, academics, if I'm still in school. I'm feeling, hey, I'm not doing so well. Like, I'm paying how much money for you to not be doing well and whatever. Well, yet I've come to you for help. Yeah. So the environment you create.
It's the environment.
And for me, I do understand some of these things. I'm not a parent, but the complexity of me coming to you and saying, Dad, there's this girl I really like, But she wants us to go to Ankole Grill for our anniversary. And she's ordering that steak that is like 10,000.
Angus. Is it Oh my goodness.
Your budget there is for,
Ah,
you are saying Kenchik,
maybe
Wimpy.
now that's why, yeah. Afadhali nisitoshe mboga.
Yeah. You know, but
Umebant. What am I even saying? But yeah, I hear you. But it's pressure that we are creating
On
for ourselves that sometimes, if we eased out on it, it would take away all these inadequacies, feelings of I can't compete, and self-judgment. Your self-esteem is compromised. That leads to, all these feelings of
inadequacy and
Inadequacy.
the stress being overwhelmed.
the stress
that
is
you can't-
overwhelming, and then you get
Yes.
into a depression.
Exactly.
And sometimes getting out of that is so difficult. Now you introduce new complexities for parents because we now have to start thinking of spending money for therapy. Huh? And let me tell you, therapy in our time. You know what therapy meant?
It was-
Wah! By the way, let me tell you, you get back to what do you call this thing? You get factory reset.
No, I had reset.
Ati, I'm feeling depressed.
Call
I'm
the
feeling.
pastor. Call that demon.
Apostle will hear of it.
Apostle will hear of
Apostle will hear of
Hey,
this.
you're taken bishop and apostle, who
There is-
reverend. They're
what-
all here
let me
laying
tell-
hands
So
on.
listen, the moment you come to me with a story, I'm feeling depressed, it's due mental health. Mental health meant mwenda wazimu. So to tell me I'm undergoing mental health challenges,
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of in my head, kwani huyu anakuwa mwenda. So mwenda, in fact, we used to think there's this place, Mathare Hospital. For some reason, okay, we were always being told that they were being beaten. That's how we understood the therapy, that you're beaten until by the time you come out, that Wenda Wazimu has gone. Whether it's true or not, I don't know to this day. So that's why even now, that whole thing that I'm feeling stressed or whatever,
Like, what do you mean?
will beat it out of you until you come out straight. So, but now with you guys also, somebody is in standard 3, standard or grade 3. You
And there's a note in the diary.
you've reached-
Come see me.
come see me. Then, by the time us we had notes in our diaries written, see the teacher. Pray.
It is you.
Use that time to draw closer to God. It's a very useful time to find favor with God because you know exactly what is going to happen. And going to see a teacher, you flunked math, SWA, or whatever, some subject
Yeah.
which you didn't do well. Worst case, you hepared school. You didn't turn up for a subject or you just disappeared. Those were the things that would cause you to go to school, or you were involved in a fight, which was natural. Guys have to sort themselves out in some way. There's a guy who's trying to show you that, so you leave him with a little bit of something. So that's why you're going to school. Now, being called to school, you arrive and then the teacher says, we need to talk. And you're okay, yeah. Because
here.
you're ready for it. He missed school. I'll know what
say
to
that
do.
You
Say-
wore the belt for caning
yeah.
to school that you're ready.
Sema, what
say
is
it,
it?
say
Yeah,
it.
I'm ready. And then the person says, I think your child is going through a mental health. Is going through
What?
Is in which grade? We're in grade 3. Yeah. I think, there's pressure. They're feeling the pressure because
What
maybe
pressure?
you didn't drop them in school.
He's wearing tafis and everyone else is wearing sharpshooters.
Everybody else.
Uh-oh. Granddad, you're just beating him to take out your own frustrations.
That's what kids are for. Move.
Mental what? Yeah. We can't cope. We don't know how to deal with some of these things. And maybe that's what is causing us, because we are dealing with it how our parents dealt with us. So in the process, we are losing you. But if we were able to understand better, become less judgmental, talk about it more often, we'd be able to cope with it. Because in a situation like that, even dismissing the teacher, because we are like, what do you mean?
Let me tell you another one. And this one is related to social media, the way you were saying earlier. Leave Instagram, leave Twitter, all these ones that are a bit more free and loose. LinkedIn
iko na pressure.
LinkedIn has
LinkedIn, see, we go in there to check for
LinkedIn,
jobs.
the
What is
pressure doesn't increase. It increases.
Does it increase? It increases.
No, it increases.
It increases.
Because every other post and every day, without fail,
Yeah.
somebody is always, I am pleased to announce, or I'm pleased to share that I have been promoted. I have started my master's.
Okay.
I'm doing this.
I hear you. Okay. I hear you.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yo, my goodness.
Crazy.
So those things are the things that bring pressure, which we could have avoided.
Yes.
And we need to figure out how to cope with those things. How do
Yes.
we manage all of that kind of pressure? Parents go through pressure as well. And that increases our incapacity or inability to deal with that. We're facing these pressures to finance your lifestyles, take you to good.
Somebody's daughter. It's not even your child. Somebody else.
Yeah. We are giving you money so that you can feed somebody else's child. We have to take you to a good school, medical care. Now then you introduce mental health. It was medical care. Let me give you how medical care was taken care of in our days. Mambo ngapi? Matatu. Mambo ilikuwa matatu. One, you get an injection. If you're sick, you will go to hospital. You're guaranteed you will get an injection. Number two, you will be given medicine. Mostly it was liquid, syrup.
Yes.
Some kind of syrup to drink. Capsules, what all those things. Is like if you are suffering malaria, those ones almost for death. That's when you get a capsule. For the most part, you could drink it. When life and death, as in we need to really figure out what's wrong with you. The third thing, you go for an X-ray to check inside what could, whether mental health or broken ribs or broken hand. We used to break our hands often because we climbed trees. So those are the things that would send you for X-ray. That was my time. Today, if I take you to hospital, let me tell you where mental health comes from. You go into a doctor's office, he puts stethoscope on your chest, he listens to your breathing, then he starts writing things down. By the time he lifts his head to address you, you're going for an MRI, number one. After you finish with the MRI, you're going for a CT scan. When you finish with the CT scan, you're going for those things for sound. And you're going to do an ultrasound. Yeah? And what else do they add in all of these things? When you
Plus the X-ray now as well.
They even throw in the X-ray for good measure, just to give comfort. I don't know for what. But by the time this process is through, you've left 100,000 shillings plus with the hospital. So you've taken all those tests and what, you come back to see the doctor so that he can give you what he has seen. Then he tells you, oh, by the way, it's everybody seems to have it. It's like a bad cough. It's a flu. It's a flu that is going around. So don't even do anything. No, we don't. Your body will clear itself. The resistance in your body will clear. It's just, yeah, we are not allowed to do physical harm to doctors. But at that point in your head, you're thinking, yeah, that's pressure. Yeah. So next time you're even thinking, do I take you to hospital or I just let it sort itself out? So it's all those. Then as parents, we are going through pressure of family. Your family members. There's always in the WhatsApp group, we are raising money. Somebody needs school fees. Somebody has a hospital bill to be paid.
Somebody's uncle's father's daughter's son has passed on.
Whose nephew
yeah,
has passed on. You need to contribute money for that. Yeah? It's just heavy. It's a lot of things. So all of this pressure, and now even more, because of the workplace environment, you're also receiving SMSs, oh, your workmate in this department has lost their dad. We contribute. I mean, those are social norms within the African context that we deal with, but it puts a lot of pressure on us to, contribute. So when you come home and then you're given one-liners, how was your day?
And you're ready to.
Yeah. You don't even want to get into that. You have your own issues to deal with before even this conversation to try and get somebody to tell you what it is. So we need to find where the balance is so that it can facilitate discussion and makes it easier for us to cope. Because the further we push away from each other in terms of not talking, it leaves these things to grow. Social isolation, that it even translates for us people. It becomes disease, high blood pressure, all these aches, arthritis, joint, whatever.
At your big age, the biggest challenge is the chair.
It's
the biggest enemy.
Here we are. I'm sitting here and my leg is really... I wish we could finish with this. I need to take a quick walk.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't go to the doctor, by the way. You're going to live 100. Put GV.
No, GV is open now. I've not seen any kid with GV on the, or places they've fallen. But yeah, the pressures are real and we are struggling to cope with our own issues. But it's pushing away the opportunity for parents and kids to talk about things, which is what we need to do. And one of the videos that we have that we will be sharing with our friends is some ideas that we've put together of how they can deal with this. And being consultants,
another acronym.
We'll come up with acronyms.
Another model.
A model.
Everything must be in letters.
It helps to structure, solutions. Solutions must be structured.
It's always table. What table? The acronym is table. Why?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it has to be somewhat, it's simple to remember, but what does the table have to do?
I think it's just a structured way to help people, because people remember if it is structured in some way. Just like the way we learned to remember the colors of the rainbow, it needed to be given in a certain
But you see,
format.
that kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But what does table have to do with, and this is hypothetical, why do I need to remember table for how to fix a tire?
Yeah.
It's not a real thing, but that's just how, that's to give you how extreme also these things get. Like the acronym, remember, table. T for what, then bolt, you do this, raise, table?
Yeah.
But fine.
It helps. And we've put together something like that to do so. Activities that we can, share with, friends. We've got coming up, fishing, basketball, playing games, board games, challenging each other at things that, the other is good at, and just challenging the other person to take it up. It's just creating opportunities for conversation. And sometimes it's not even so much the speaking, it's the spending time together, doing something. Because before we open up to each other, we need to create trust. We need to feel not judged. We need to feel safe. That if I share with you, how safe
You listen,
do
you
I
don't judge.
listen and don't judge?
Serious.
Yeah, isn't it?
No,
Absolutely.
I don't have to hear the Baba, Nani, the neighbors. They're
Yeah.
discussing. So I'm hearing the other compound.
Whoa.
No, neighbor's son. The father was telling me.
No, he came out of the closet. Whoa.
Look at this guy. What would you do if your son came out of the closet? I'll send him back in.
But that's you see the challenges that
Yes.
we have to face. But yes, we need to make you feel safe. We need to feel safe that, in sharing these details, you will honor my need for secrecy, my need for you to listen and deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to feel that way with you. And that's what we're asking parents to do. And we're asking young people to do. So increase the level of activities, do stuff together. I know it's not easy, but also this is the thing for younger parents, start early. Because to try and do these things with the kids when they're older is a lot harder. You're not going to make much progress, or you'll struggle, but it will take time. But if it will help reduce the avenues where we are having people getting into depression, and this depression is leading to suicides, it's leading to mental health cases and so on. If we can reduce that through those interactions, I think that would really, really go a long way. And so we're asking parents, tell us, share with us in the comments below. Let us know, how are you dealing? What did you do differently? It will help somebody else. If you are struggling with a situation, what did you do? How did you deal with it? And how is it going so far? So that somebody else can be helped, which is the objective of what this podcast is about.
Yeah. And then for the younger people, it's more of, are you also actively trying to involve them in that conversation or create that conversation, starting rather that conversation?
Yeah.
Start, whether it is at work or with your relationships or social, feeling like, what do you think about this? Or have you ever experienced something? And, you don't have to tell them it's an issue. Just say, asking for a friend.
Okay.
I'm asking for a friend.
Isn't
or
it? Those are
I've seen
relatable.
somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're still not feeling confident about it,
Yeah.
it can always be, I'm asking for
a friend. And it actually lightens what could have perhaps been something that had a lot of tension.
Yeah.
Just make it light so that it opens the opportunity for a conversation to come out of it. And you will be so surprised at how much you can actually talk about. Some of these things are inhibited by our African upbringing, the culturalization. It's those things where we've been taught to, know that children should not speak to adults, and don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Yeah.
And so on. So we just need to free ourselves, because what our kids are going through today is what every other kid is going through. So we cannot hide within a cocoon of we are Africans and this is how we do. It would be great because there are African solutions to this, but we should be open enough to incorporate other different thinking around it, so that it makes it easier for us to be able to deal with some of those issues. Yeah. So we're looking forward to hearing from you, your comments. What else would be happy to talk even at great length. It's just that we are limited for time.
This guy will talk. He'll talk. He might introduce the model. So that being said, I will do the honors to stop there.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you follow us, like and subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when we put up the next video. Like I said, follow us on our social media channels. We are Jatello and Jatello on Instagram and TikTok. And for today, cheers guys.